Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Little's Lab with Do Space. My name is Kim. I am a community learning specialist with Do Space. And this morning we are doing kind of our same old thing. We are going to be going over what our theme is for today. We're going to be reading a story and then playing with a new app that helps us make different words to help us with our word learning and kind of sight words. So as you guys know, every month we have a different theme or kind of activities that are similar. And this month's theme is Let's Make. And I know that since we have a few participants that have been with us before, you have told me some of the things you make, but remind me again, what are some things you've been making? You can make all sorts of things, right? There's all sorts of ways you can make. It's a pretty open term. So you can make with food, you can make with arts and crafts, paint and drawing. You can make with things around your house. A snowman. Yes, you were able to make a snowman, absolutely, with our kind of silly snowstorm we had in the middle of the week last week. Yeah. Our friend Byron made a picture of Byron. Did you do a self-portrait? Nice. Yes. Very cool. That's absolutely making. Yeah, that's a really cool type of making too. Learning to draw. Yeah, perfect. So snowman, going outside, getting some of that energy out. That is great. So yeah, if you guys think of any other kind of making, I've been making a lot of sweet treats this past week. So I made some yummy banana bread, and I've made my husband really loves peanut butter cookies. I've been making those. Our friend Roy said he's been making a Halloween picture. Getting ready for Halloween. Yeah, we're a few months off, but hey, it doesn't hurt to get started early, right? Why not? Perfect. Nice. Yeah. So excellent. Well, if you guys think of anything else that you've been making in the last couple weeks, just put it in the chat. Help your grown-up help you out, and yeah, I'll shout it out. So we are going to be doing we're going to be talking about noise, making a lot of noise. Yes. I can imagine. Sometimes you guys got to get it all out, right? All that noise. Well, today we are going to be reading a story about a girl named Rosie Revere, who is an engineer. And so an engineer is somebody who she creates stuff, she makes things, and she likes to make things out of just everyday items that she finds. So building things, she might draw out a plan to make it, and then she builds it. So that's a lot of times what engineers do as a job. They plan out something to make, and then they try and make it. So we are going to be reading a book called Rosie Revere, Engineer. And then we are going to be doing app, which I don't think we've done yet. We've done similar apps, but I'm not sure if we've done this particular one. Endless Reader, where we're going to be making some words. And even if we have, you know what? It's fun to review that kind of stuff, right? Perfect. Well, we are going to, and again, just a reminder, our theme is making. It looks like we had a latecomer. Our theme is making today. So what have you been making, Zam Bam? If you want, you can put it in the chat. So our theme is making today. What have you been making around the house? So we are going to get started like we always do with our calendar. So I'm going to go to our calendar right now. So we are going to be going to a website called starfall.com. And I really like this website because it's great. It has all sorts of different activities to help with educational activities. And I like the calendar that it has. So usually if we were at Do Space, we have a really big, basically touch screen TV or like monitor, like a computer screen. And I usually have our friends that come to Little's Lab come up and help me touch, because the cool thing about this app is if you were having a mouse, you could click, or if you had a tablet that I'm on, you can touch. And so I'm going to have you guys pretend with me. Can you guys pretend with me? I'm actually going to be moving us along, but I want you to pretend that you're helping me out by touching the screen. So I might ask you to touch your screen to help move us along. So like, for example, you should see a white triangle in the middle of your screen. Can you guys go ahead and touch that triangle? Go ahead and touch that triangle and see what happens. Let's do it. So our screen changed, yeah. So we have our month that we are in and the year that we are in. So that first word you see is our month. And what's the very first letter? Our first letter in that word that you see. It's also our first letter of the alphabet. We're reading A. That is right. It is our letter A. And the A is a funny letter because it can make two sounds, right? It can make an a sound like apple, or it can make the a sound like April, like the month we're in. So we are in the month of April. So it makes two sounds. And then we are in our year 2020, 2020. Perfect. Okay, you guys see that green arrow on the bottom? Go ahead and touch that green arrow for us. And we have our calendar. And I like to go over our 7 days of the week. There are 7 days of the week that we repeat every week and every month. So let's say those 7 days of the week all together. You say them with maybe the people that you're with. So let's start with Sunday. So there's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Good job. And what is today's day? Does anybody know what today is? It comes after Monday and before Wednesday. If you know it, say it to your who you're with your siblings, with your grown-ups, because today is Tuesday, right? Yeah, today is Tuesday. That is our day of the week. So do you see that hand pointing to our Golden Tuesday? Can you guys go ahead and touch that Golden Tuesday for us? Let's touch that Tuesday. So today is Tuesday. That's our day of the week. Our month is called April. And then that number after April is our date today. And it's a pretty big number, right? So if you don't know it, that's okay. But if you do know it, great. That number is made up with two numbers, right? There are two numbers that make up that one number. So what's our very first number in that number? Is it our number 2? Oh, we have to get into our camera. There we go. Our number 2. And then the second number is 1. So when a 2 is in front of a 1, it is 21. So today is the 21st day of April. So that is our date today. And then our year, 2020. Okay, can you guys go ahead and touch that green arrow for us? Let's touch that green arrow. Okay, so now I really need your help because we need to touch and drag our Tuesday where it needs to go in our day of the weeks, and then our date today, our 21. So can you guys help me? Let's do Tuesday first. Can you touch that Tuesday and let's help me drag it to where it needs to go in our day of the week. Perfect. And then let's move our 21. Let's move our date today. Our 21st day of April. Let's move that to where? Excellent. And then let's touch that green button one more time. Okay, so this is our calendar. So let's talk about some of the fun things that are going on. And I know this is a review for some of you, but I think it's fun. So on Wednesday, April 1st, our very first day of April, we had a funny holiday, a funny day called April Fool's Day, where people play tricks and pranks on people. So you may have been tricky that day, or somebody else might have been tricky to you. Then our next holiday was on Thursday, April 9th, and we had Passover. Did anybody celebrate Passover? Anybody celebrate Passover? And then our next day, on the next day even, is on Friday, April 10th was Good Friday. Anybody celebrate Good Friday? And then our next fun day was on Sunday, April 12th, and that was Easter. Did anybody celebrate Easter? Anybody see this? Did anybody have a Easter bunny? Maybe not. You maybe didn't go visit the Easter bunny because we're not visiting people right now, right? But maybe you saw pictures of the Easter bunny or read a book about the Easter bunny. And then tomorrow is a fun day. Tomorrow, a Wednesday, April 22nd, with a 2 in front of it too. So that's tomorrow, is Earth Day. And Earth Day is where we celebrate and take care of our earth, right? So we might want to plant some flowers to help, because our plants that we have, our trees help us. They make oxygen, which helps us breathe, which is great. You might want to, if you see any trash, pick up trash, because we want to make our earth look nice, right? We want to make sure that we turn off the water while we're brushing our teeth. We don't want to let it run and waste any water. Recycle. So a lot of these things you can do all year long, right? You don't have to do it just this day. You don't have to do it just tomorrow. You can do it all year long. But tomorrow is a day that we really focus. Oh, we have somebody who said, we had a friend that said they played with solar panel grasshoppers. Very cool. Yeah. Using the energy from the sun to make electricity, to make things. Yeah. So perfect. That's really cool. Solar panel grasshopper. That's awesome. Yeah. And then our last kind of holiday or fun day that we had this month is on Friday, April 24th. So later this week is Ramadan begins. Anybody celebrate Ramadan? Yeah. So I know that everybody has a birthday, right? I have a birthday. You have a birthday. We all have birthdays. But I'm looking for friends that have a birthday in our month of April. Does anybody have a birthday in our month of April? If you don't, that's okay. It might be a different month. But do we have any friends? Ooh, we have a friend whose mom's birthday is on Friday. Nice. So I'm going to put a piece of cake on Friday, April 24th. Nice. Because what do we eat on our birthdays a lot of times? We eat cake, right? So nice. Anybody else? And that's okay if you don't. Perfect. Well, friends, thank you for helping me with my calendar today. So we are going to move on. We are going to move on to our story. So we are going to move on to our story of Rosie Revere Engineers. So let me get that set up. Okay, I'm going to be using an app called Epic Books. It's great. It has all sorts of different stories, all sorts of different books at different reading levels. So we are going to be reading, and this is one of my favorite books. I've read it a lot in Little's Lab, actually, just because it is, I feel like, very relevant in lots of different themes that we do in different projects. So we are reading a book about Rosie Revere, a little girl named Rosie Revere, who is an engineer. So let's see what happens with Rosie Revere, our engineer. This is the story of Rosie Revere, who dreamed of becoming a great engineer. In Lila Greer's classroom at Blue River Creek, young Rosie sat shyly, not daring to speak. So Rosie is in the front row, and she is the second from the left kiddo. She has the blonde hair that's kind of swooping over her eye, with the white shirt with the red shoes. So that's Rosie Revere. But when no one saw her, she peeked in the trash for treasures to add to her engineer stash. And late at night, Rosie rolled up her sleeves and built in her hideaway under the eaves. So she's recycling, right? She's what's called like upcycling. So she's taking things that people threw away, and that people thought that was trash, and she sees them as engineering treasures. Let's see what she makes with that. Oh, Look at her room. Look at all the things she has to make with. Alone in her attic, the moon high above, dear Rosie made gadgets and gizmos she loved. And when she grew sleepy, she hid her machines far under the bed where they'd never be seen. So she has all sorts. And just as a reminder, what's an engineer again? An engineer is somebody who builds different things, right? And there's all sorts of different types of engineers. So she's the type of engineers that takes things she finds, maybe around the house or that people threw away, to make different things out of them. That's the type of engineer she is. When Rosie was young, she had not been so shy. She worked with her hair swooped over one eye and made fine inventions for uncles and aunts. A hot dog dispenser and helium pants. Oh my goodness, look at that hot dog dispenser in her helium pants. Looks like her hot dog dispenser is made out of cardboard and a hair dryer and some mustard and some doll arms and a hanger and a soup can. I bet you have all that stuff, right? Do you think you could make a hot dog dispenser? Maybe. The uncle she loved most was Zookeeper Fred. She made him a hat to keep snakes off his head. From parts of a fan and some cheddar cheese spray, which everyone knows keeps the pythons away. So she made her her hat out of a fan and some cheese, and it looks like a doll foot, all sorts of different things. And when it was finished, young Rosie was proud, but Fred slapped his knee and he chuckled out loud. He laughed till he wheezed and his eyes filled with tears, all to the horror of Rosie Revere, who stood there embarrassed, perplexed, and dismayed. She looked at the cheese hat and then looked away. I love it, Fred hooted. Oh, I truly do. But Rosie Revere knew that could not be true. She stuck the cheese hat on the back of her shelf, and after that day kept her dreams to herself. So what happened when her Uncle Fred laughed at her invention? Did it make her sad? Yeah. Yeah, it didn't. It did not make her happy. And that's how it went until one autumn day, her oldest relation showed up for a stay. Her great-great-aunt Rose was a true dynamo who worked building airplanes a long time ago. She told Rosie tales of things she had done and goals she had checked off her list one by one. She gave a sad smile as she looked to the sky. The only thrill left in my list is to fly. But time never lingers as long as it seems. I'll chalk that one up to an old lady's dreams. So you see a picture of her great-great-aunt Rosie in the top. That's what when she was young, she was building an airplane, but she never flew in an airplane. And she wants to. That night, as Rosie laid wide-eyed in bed, a daring idea crept into her head. Could she build a gizmo to help her aunt fly? She looked at the cheese hat and said, no, not I. But questions are tricky, and some hold on tight, and this one kept Rosie awake through the night. So when dawn approached and the red streaks lit the sky, young Rosie knew just how to make her aunt fly. Have you ever had that happen to you, where you have an idea in your head and it just won't go away? You keep thinking about it? That's what happened to Rosie. She worked till the day was half gone, then hauled her cheese copter out onto the lawn to give her invention a test just to see the ridiculous flop it might turn out to be. So let's see what kind of invention she made. Strapped into the cockpit, she flipped on the switch. The Hello Cheese Copter sputtered and twitched. It floated in a moment and whirled around and round, then froze for a heartbeat and crashed to the ground. So what does it look like her Hello Cheese Copter is made out of? Looks like it might be made out of a Broom. What are some things you see? Looks like there's a broom. Maybe there's an umbrella. Looks like we have maybe a mattress or some skateboards. Yeah, all sorts of different things. Oh no, but it crashed, right? Then Rosie heard laughter and turned around to see the old woman laughing and slapping her knee. She laughed till she wheezed and her eyes filled with tears, all to the horror of Rosie Revere, who thought, oh no, never, not ever again will I try to build something to sputter or spin or build with a lever, a switch, or a gear, and never will I be a great engineer. She turned round to leave, but then Great-Great-Aunt Rose grabbed hold of young Rosie and pulled her in close and hugged her and kissed her and started to cry. You did it! Hooray! It's a perfect first try. This great flop is over. It's time for the next. And Rosie was baffled, embarrassed, perplexed. I failed, said dear Rosie. It's just made of trash. Didn't you see? The cheese copter crashed. Yes, said her great aunt, it crashed. That is true. But first, it did just what it needed to do. Before it crashed, Rosie, before it flew. So it did work a little bit, right? It wasn't a complete success, but it was a little success, which is something. Your brilliant first flop was a raging success. Come on, let's get busy and on to the next. She handed a notebook to Rosie Revere, who smiled at her aunt as it all became clear. Life might have its failures, but this was not it. The only true failure can come if you quit. Right? Because you might not be great at everything the very first time you do it, right? The very first time you build something, it might not be perfect. The first time you try a new sport or try something new, you're not going to be the best. You have to work at it. You have to practice. You might have to make adjustments. And that's what she's learning, that it worked a little bit, but she has to do a little bit things different to make it a little bit better. And that's okay. But you just don't want to quit. They worked till the sun sneaked away to its bed, and Aunt Rose tied her handkerchief around Rosie's head and sent her to sleep with a smile ear to ear, to dream the bold dreams of a great engineer. So they're reworking it, right? They're changing a few things to maybe hopefully make it work better. And at Blue River Creek, all the kids in grade 2 built gizmos and gadgets and hickory-doos. With each perfect failure, they'd all stand and cheer, but none quite as proudly as Rosie Revere. All done. So I really like that book because it teaches us that as long as you try and not give up, it's not a failure. It's just every little thing is a tiny success. It might not be perfect, and that's okay. Great. I really like that book. I think it's great. So friends, we are going to move on to our app today because we are going to be building or making some words. And I don't think we've done this. So this is called, I'm going to talk a little bit louder because I think you might not be able to hear me very well over the music, but this is called Endless Reader, and we are going to be making words. So we're going to start with our very first word.
All.
Okay, so we are making the word all. And what are the letters that make up our word all? We need to build our word back up. So I want you to help me. We're going to drag and drop the letters back into where they're traced out in the middle of our screen. So can you guys help me with that? What is our first letter that we need to put in our word all? Is it our letter A? It is. So let's drag
A.
Our letter A. And then we have two of the same letter. one right after the other. What letter is that? It might be kind of hard to tell because it's lowercase, but it is our letter L. So let's move our L's
L.
where they need to go. Our L's.
L.
Oh! And it makes the word all. Oh, but now we have some other words. We need to put them in our sentence, right? So we have our word. Let's start with our word that we just made, all. Where does our word all go in our sentence? Can you guys help me put it? I found our word all. And let's put it where it needs to go in our sentence. Then the word right in front of that is the word up. Starts with our letter U. Can we put that word up where it needs to go? Let's put that word up where it needs to go.
Up.
And then we have our last word, right? What letter does that start with? Do you know what letter that starts with? Does it start with our letter T? It does.
The.
Oh no!
Pinkerton gobbled up all of the cookies.
Them all up, so there's no more left. Oh my goodness. Should we go on to our next word? Let's go on to our next word. I'm actually going to go to this word because all and ball are very similar, right? So I want to make a word that has some different letters in it. So we are going to be making the word cake. Our word cake. So we need to build our word back up. So what's our first letter that we need to put in our word cake? Is it our letter C? Yeah. Or C? Because C is another one of those funny word letters that make two sounds. It can make the S sound or a K sound. This time with cake, it makes a K sound. Okay, what's our next letter that we need to put in? Is it our letter A? Yeah, help me put our letter A where it needs to go.
A.
And then what's our third letter? What letter is that? Is that our letter K? It has a similar sound as our C. And then
K.
our letter, what's our last letter, friends? Our letter E. Yeah, it's our letter E. It makes our word cake. Do you guys like cake? I love cake. Oh my goodness. And now we need to put the words back into our sentence. So let's start with the word that we just made, our word cake. Can we find our word cake and put it where it needs to go in our sentence? Can you guys help me? Let's put that word cake where it needs to go in our sentence. And then we need to find the word right in front of that. What letter is the very first letter of that word? What is that letter of that first word? Is it G? Yeah, G for our word good. Good. Okay, and then we've seen this word before again, right? We saw it in the last sentence. It starts with our letter T. It is the word the. Can you help me put the word the where it needs to go?
The.
Oh my.
A good cake is the yummiest part of a birthday party.
I have to agree. The good cake. You gotta love the cake at a birthday party, right? It is the yummiest part. Excellent. Okay, should we do one more word? Let's do one more word. Oh, this is a great word.
Dog.
Some of you might even know what this word is. Maybe you have already learned what this word is. It is our word dog. We We are building the word dog. So what is our very first letter that we need for our word dog? Is our letter D? It is our letter D. Let's put our letter D where it needs to go.
D.
Then, we haven't seen this letter yet. What's our middle letter? What's our middle letter? It is our letter O. O. For dog.
O.
And then what's our last letter, friends? Is it our letter G? G.
G.
Dog!
We just built the word dog. Let's see how we're going to put it in a sentence. So let's put our word dog, the word we just made, in our sentence. Can you guys help me put our word dog in our sentence? Look at that funny dog word. Let's put it where it needs to go. Well,
Dog.
And speaking of the word funny, the word funny is in our sentence. And it starts with our letter F. F. Can you find our word that starts with our letter F? Funny. And let's put it where it needs to go in our sentence.
Funny.
And then we've actually seen this word before, our last one. What letter does it start with? Is it our letter U? Yeah. U, it is our word up.
Up. Yoshi thinks it is funny to dress up her dog.
Look how she dressed up her dog. Do you guys have a dog that you've ever dressed up, or a pet? That is funny. Perfect. Well, friends, that we are right about out of time. So I'm going to go back to our video. So friends, thank you so much for joining me for Little's Lab today. I'm so happy that you guys were able to read Rosie Revere with me and do our calendar and make some words with me, because it's a type of building, right? You're learning, you're making learning connections. So perfect. So friends, thank you so much. We'll be back at it on Saturday, April 25th. So we will be doing a brand new story and a brand new app. So thanks again. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Hopefully maybe getting outside a little bit, because it is so nice. Okay. Well, we'll see you later, friends. Bye.